Welcome to a brand new wave, drowning out the noise that's tame. Liberty whispers through the brave, breaking free from every chain. Nullify the rules they crave, crypto beats that pave the way. Anarchy with minds that's safe, algorithms new dawn of day. Out of bounds and out of sight, building futures pure and bright. Escape the grip and win the fight. Welcome into the legacy ride. Beyond control we take a stand, casting off the iron brand. Freedom flowing through our hands, revolution's our command. Decentralize the way we plan, all together we expand. Breaking shackles for the clan, in this journey we're unpanned. Out of bounds and out of sight, building futures pure and bright. Escape the grip and win the fight. Welcome into the legacy ride.
You know what, man? It's Saturday. I don't know what the hell to talk about. So you know what? Let's just roll the countdown and let's just see what we get into.
All right, here we go.
I mean, I got my sword.
Man's gonna have his defenses.
Greg's on mute. You're muted, Greg.
Hey, Greg.
I feel like I've been somewhere precisely before recently where I've seen that exact sword with that exact phrasing. That was deja vu-ish, my friend. Pretty sure that happened on Thursday. Is it
I
Thursday?
think it did.
Oh.
It is a Thursday? I don't
Possible.
remember. It's possible that it's Thursday. It could be Monday.
Could be probable too.
Days of the week could be an arbitrary abstraction that we have no use for anymore because nothing's on lunar cycles except for stuff that still uses weeks in a way that's so ensconced they can't escape it. Sorry, I just
So
wanted to
how
see
was
if I
our-
could keep that sentence without tripping.
Oh, it's all right. So how's our weekend going so far, guys?
I slept in.
Heck yeah.
Well, I mean,
That's the way
hey,
to do it.
you got to relax.
You know, one of the more famous figures in history was sleeping in all day today.
Abraham Lincoln.
Did Abraham Lincoln sleep in all day on the Saturday before Easter?
Probably.
Okay.
He was
in good company.
Yeah. I don't know. He was a very brilliant man. He actually was,
Well, I have my quibbles with that, actually.
But there's a but there, everybody.
You know, as far as regime changes in the United States go, that was one of the worst executed ones, frankly. It was the birth of the ability to revoke people's physical freedoms with the justification of national security being the purpose, right? Like that was habeas corpus. Freaking revised. They could just throw you in jail till the war was over and you never see a judge. Imagine that. Could have been for something like sedition too, where they totally don't give you a chance to defend your First Amendment rights. You're just in jail awaiting trial.
That goes to the kind of the general idea that I've come across in my last couple of years of research and just discerning and just realizing that you really have no rights, everybody. Like your right is to simply just exist. I mean, and to be
Well,
left alone if you can allow that to be the case. And how can you allow yourself to be left alone and to be able to live your life and to raise your family and provide for your family and to yourself when you have other sources that are breathing down your neck? So what is a right anyways if
well,
it can't be enforced?
well. So here's the thing. Like, you want to hear something crazy? At a master's of law level coursework. Okay, so like I was in law school. I was taking all the
Yeah.
JD, the Juris Doctor stuff. That's your
Mm,
bachelor's degree of law. In law school, that's like tier one, right? If you can get that, you're past paralegal finally, but you still have to take the bar and pay all these fees and do all this stupid busy work. But they let you practice at that point, right? You want to be a professor, though, you have to get something else, right? And if you want to be a particular kind of practitioner, you have to get something called an LLM, right? There's these tiers of lawyer, right?
what's I'm going to stop you right there. What's funny is I find it has to take you anywhere from 6 to 7 years at least to get into to pass and graduate through the entire tier for law, right?
Well, if you have to have an undergrad degree as a requirement,
Yeah,
right?
you do have to. And like I find it funny. Like both my dad and my brother were attorneys, right? My dad graduated in 3 years,
Mhm.
and then went to Catholic University. My brother
Mhm.
actually stayed at UC for the entire duration. Went to UC Law after that. My brother both had a degree and they got their bachelor's in philosophy. My brother's uh, a
That's awesome.
philosopher by degree, and then he has his Juris Doctor, and then passed the bar in both
Yeah.
Indiana and Ohio. I find it hysterically hilarious because I'm the philosopher in my opinion, and yet he has the degree.
Right. I know. Well, it's especially funny too because you can't really get good philosophy out of an LLM if you don't know philosophy, but you can totally get good law out of an LLM. Which is,
You
is always
can.
amusing to me to talk about LLMs to lawyers because some of them actually have an LLM degree. This is the joke I was getting at here. So, so to all the LLMs out there, if somebody offered you an LLM class, would you want to take another LLM class as an LLM so you could use LLMs for your LLM practice?
Yes. And
I
yes.
mean,
I said
that's a
that
good
sentence all the way
question.
without falling over two. I'm 2 for 2 today, guys.
I mean, honestly, who needs attorneys anyways?
Right. I know. We really don't. You don't need the reason you need attorneys is for the same reason you need a licensed hairstylist, right? The reason that there aren't people practicing law that are just fit for it and good at it, because you can do that, right? Like you have to learn a few details about research or just hire a really good paralegal. But if you've got the right, shimmy shake attitude and you can schmooze with people who like to pretend to have power in ways that are kind of loud, if you can see through that BS and not worry about ego, then you can practice law. Like anybody could really do it. In fact, the reason they invented the 3-year model, I learned this in my legal ethics course because they also invented legal ethics for the same reason at the same time, roughly. And the idea was the YMCA started doing these 2-year night school lawyer training programs. And it was really starting to cut into the bottom line of people who served the poorest of the poor because everybody wanted to go to their 2-year program friends law practice because they were charging less and they actually cared about the cases because they lived next door or whatever, right? Well, a bunch of people at Harvard Law didn't think this was very cool, right? Because it was starting to concern them that they were not going to be tenured because they might not need as many professors. So they invented the system, decided to push to make the bar instantiate their system as a certification requirement. And now you know the rest of the story, right? So the whole thing was basically a way to capture the profession so that the rates could be controlled because they didn't want too many people in the industry. They certainly didn't want to be competing with people who actually gave a fuck about the poors, right? Their job was to cut deals with the other side's hoi polloi bullshit. Like it's highfalutin lawyer getting together with a highfalutin prosecutor to trade horses on the future histories of people who made mistakes. I found it disgusting. I got out of it for the same reason you didn't like working for Fidelity.
Hey,
Yeah,
I didn't work for Fidelity. I worked in the security.
Or sorry,
I don't work.
Security.
I don't work.
you didn't work for the companies.
Yeah,
Good.
I
Nobody
prefer
should work for companies anymore. Companies are so 2000s.
Yeah, I prefer the security because then you're not dealing with all the bullshit and you're just coming in and doing what a normal security guard does.
Right.
Sit on your
You also
ass.
don't have to worry about the fact that your job's not important, right? Like you actually need freaking
Exactly.
security guards.
Yeah, and
You
well,
check
that too. Like, go ahead, Andrew.
I would say you check the temperature of the dead bodies too. I worked in a morgue.
I mean, I worked as a
You
patient.
do have to check the
transporter.
temperature on that.
I have
Well,
worked
it's just
as
a room.
patient
It wasn't actual
transporter.
bodies.
No.
And to Andrew's point, I did have to touch the dead bodies, and I did have to roll dead bodies into morgues. It was kind of sad too, because I will tell a story. I actually chatted with this guy. I actually came up to take this guy to a procedure. We had a great conversation. He had some intestinal issues. He was in great spirits, right? And 3 days later, guess he ends up dying, and guess who's the one who comes up and carries his body to the morgue? Me. I just saw this guy 3 days earlier, and he was in great spirits, positive, like just everything's gonna be okay. We're gonna get through this, and the next thing you know, he's dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like that ironic song that isn't ironic. So the song's ironic, but the lyrics aren't, right? You finally get on the plane for the first time after a lifetime of being afraid of flying. It goes down. Not irony, but exemplary, right, of the situation.
Mhm.
The worst thing can, in fact, happen the first time you try something. True fact. Not usually, unless it's wingsuiting.
What another little story that I got. This is how I decided to go and tell Andrew, like, Andrew, we need to start a podcast. I'm sitting there, patient transporter, right? I go pick up a patient, go take him to his procedure. Big old Pentecostal, like, Pentecostals, right? When it comes to the church, just vibrant, charismatic. It was almost like that. Very charismatic. Big old black dude. I mean, you could tell it. His voice matched his body. Fantastic guy. I say hello, good morning, sir, and he's like, he didn't see me come in. I kind of just like came and got him to take him back to his room, so he didn't see what I look like. I'm just this scrawny little 30-something-year-old white boy, right? Small, skinny, and he's like, who the fuck said that? And he turns around. I'm like, speak again, young man. I said, I'm like, okay. Sup? He's like, you got the voice of a radio, man. I would have never thought that small of a person would have that deep of a voice. Like, you need to be on radio. I'm like, I don't know, man, but sure.
And then here we are.
Then here we are. We're not on the radio though.
No, I know. Close enough.
For the 16 watching live. 17.
17.
And the millions that we hope
Three
to watch.
players.
Actually, no, we don't want millions. We just want you guys. Everybody who's in here right now, tell everybody to get the hell out of our show. We never want to see him again. This is it.
Yeah.
This is the end of the audience. We're capping it here. You guys are in a club.
We're starting a guild.
Yeah.
No, honestly,
it's the Eric Cartman, you can't come into my amusement park strategy.
I like that actually, because when it comes down to it, like most people, when they get into this, and it's so saturated anymore, and that it's been co-opted by the corporate chartered arms, so it's kind of, and then it's harder. It was easier 10 years ago to get into a podcast because you didn't have the algorithms. So now you're fighting to stay on input with an algorithm and to stay in line with social media and all this. Like, whereas 10 years ago, you could could find your niche, and then that's how you flow, right? And I think that's what people need to understand. I think a lot of people that want to get into something like this, like start a podcast, like focus on your niche, focus on who you want to start a drive with, and create a club. I mean, honestly, like create something where down at the bottom, I have become a sponsor and support the legacy, right? And you can go. I got the link there. You can become a sponsor. We want to do things that are kind of like a guild. So we want you to come to that Patreon that I have in underneath my name on the title. I mean, because I don't want to get big on here. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie when I say I kind of want to be able to like afford and live and financially get by, because and make this like my job title, like my career path. But at the same time, I want to do something to where like I want to draw people in, have conversations, and you are the sponsor. Like you are basically the share. I am the CEO, Andrew is the founder, and and Greg is the vice president, and then all of you, I want
I don't
to
need
be
a title, actually. I don't ever take titles.
I don't care. You're the vice president.
Oh, call me something silly at least if you're going to be a title. Can I be the grand flamboyant or the grand flanger or something like that, or the frobber in chief?
You're the philanderer. You are
No.
the philanderer.
No, I said flange, not fland.
Oh well.
Happy
Philander.
Easter, everybody.
Happy Easter.
Absolutely.
But
That's how
flanger, in the way I was imagining it, was literally the thing that bends the guitar strings on a stick. I was imagining like my job was on YouTube, not like that. That was like I need a guitar for any of those hand motions to not look gross.
Well, I'm just the chief retard, and Andrew's bald. That's your
I've
title.
always been. Always have been, always will be.
But that's the point. Like that's the point that I want to look at. Like that's what how I look at this is like, let's build a club to where it's almost like the fans, the supporters they're not just sponsors, they're like a shareholder investing, and through their investment they get more out of the deal. Like, come on over, let's start a community in a Patreon or in a Discord, and then we give you extra things to where you're just interacting. Like, it's more us, but you are more involved. Like,
right. Well, I mean, and the way that you have to always think about the reason. So a lot of people think that you get into this stuff, it's a scam, right? It's a Ponzi scheme. You hear Ponzi scheme lovers at this kind of stuff all the time. Sometimes these things are in fact frauds, right? Most of the time, though, if we were going to be completely honest about what fraud claims usually are, when we don't aggregate them statistically and wash the facts out of them, is customers who get mad when a venture that had a fair shake but was always going to have a chance of failure ends up going with plan B, right? They fail. And the people who were excited about getting the thing they wanted for their time and care and money, they're just like, you lied. Well, no, you didn't really lie. You just promised something you couldn't deliver. There's a difference. Yeah. It's when you lie to convince people to give you the money that it's a problem, not when you lie to convince people that you're going to give your best shot at making a product that might not work, right? It's not the same thing.
I want to hear more of Andrew, the star of the hour.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't call myself a star, but I would like to call myself a captain for the episode. Maybe we're going to be talking about the Enneagram, right? In today's episode, it's a little bit of a long video. It's 45 minutes, so we don't have to watch it all the way through. But it's just interesting things. It's kind of discovering how people are wired.
Anybody who wants to comment can, like, when it's silent on the video and not talking, say pause, and then we can comment. Is that good?
That's fine.
Or do you want me to just shut up and listen? Okay, cool.
Does this have anything to do with being spiritual nomads? Lost down a highway. I'm lost down a highway to hell.
It's about envy.
AC/DC just took me on a highway to hell. and then Led Zeppelin ended up carrying me up a staircase to heaven. But then I got to the top of the staircase, and then we fell back down because we played it backwards, and it ended up being Highway to Hell.
Did you ever happen to stumble into the Hindu section, get resurrected, and find out that life is in fact always a highway?
Life is a railroad. I don't know.
I kind of want to drive it all night long. I don't know about you guys.
Right.
If you're going my way, though, I want to ride it all night long.
Yeah, sort of like a Route 66. I like the
right.
ride.
You know, there's all these cities and all these towns because it's in my blood and it's all around. These are the lyrics to "Life Is a Highway" by John Cougar Mellencamp. For anybody who's not completely sure if I'm doing it literally,
that is a great song, actually. John Cougar, man. You know
the drum hit.
You know, he's speaking of Cougar. He's actually from. He's from a town. Well, I guess it's not really a town. It's a small city. He's actually from Seymour, Indiana, which is about 50.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, about 50 miles from me, from Lawrenceburg, and Lawrenceburg, Aurora. And he actually used to. This is what my mom told me. He actually would sometimes come to Lawrenceburg when they and just sit by the river and drink beer.
Cool. He had a place. He had a place in downtown Indy too, right off the circle at like Meridian and whatever street crosses right into the Capitol's face.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah, he probably still has something in Indy. He probably sold
that thing was. There's more of a condo. Like obviously nobody was buying that. They're like, that's the weird thing about the Indy market for places that had way more cost than square feet.
Well, he is
downtown, man. Like he owned that thing. He was never get rid of it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, he probably still owns it, and I think he has like a farm or something like outside of Bloomington. Though he's still an Indiana boy, man. He never really left Indiana. He got a little too.
Smart thing to do with the old music bucks, though, right? Pick up land.
Yeah. Pick up land, stay home. You got to admire him. You got to admire John Cougar. You don't have to admire the politics, but politics is gay anyway. So
no, you've got to respect is the fact that before that man existed, all the songs that he wrote did not. Right, we would not be making absurd "Life Is a Highway" jokes right now, for example.
Blood on the Scarecrow, everybody.
Yep,
that's my favorite song. Actually, that gets me pumped when I listen to "Rain on the Scarecrow."
I always liked Little Diddy. Because that one, if it ever came on the radio in Western Kansas on the way to any sporting event, I could get them to turn the radio off by singing "Oh Yeah, Light the Bong." It was fantastic.
Yeah. Actually, you could never fail. You could never fail with John Cougar.
Well, we're ready.
You could fail with John Cougar if you're going to an actual, honest to God, illegal cougar fight.
Yeah.
John Cougar Mellencamp, and here's like, the claw, and everybody runs away, but John Cougar Mellencamp is not the victorious cougar in that fight, unless they gave him, I guess, like a guitar or a mic stand. Then maybe he'd win. You could garrote the tiger with the guitar strings or hit it with the mic stand. I don't know. He might live. He is a cougar.
He is a cougar after all. we're getting on a tangent, so Andrew,
let's go ahead. I was just asking if you guys are ready to get into it.
Let's get ready to rumble.
All right,
here we go.
Hey guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Dr. Tom LaHue. We're going to be talking about the sin of Enneagram Type 4. Otherwise known as envy. Thanks for joining me for this video. You can go to my website, tomlahue.com. It's listed in the description below. I do offer Enneagram coaching. What is that? Well, it's like life coaching, but it's based on the Enneagram. So, when we know the Enneagram, it tells us a lot about ourselves, a lot about our motivations, and a lot about the people that we're trying to get along with and in relationship with. And it's a fantastic tool to not only learn more about ourselves, but the people that we love and interact with, and to have the best relationships possible. Realize, guys, I'm an Enneagram 7, which means I just want you to be happy. I just want you to be content. I want you to have a great life, to live an inspired life, to be passionate about what you do. And sometimes in life, we can lose that passion, lose that joy, lose that excitement, and our relationships can suffer. And I don't want you to suffer. I want things to be better for you. And so I'd love for you to consider working with me. Look at my Present to Life program. And also, as we jump into these notes today, I have these notes available for you. And just go to my store tab on my webpage and download the free PDF, the free ebook called Shadows of the Soul. And this little book has all of this information about type 4s, as well as all the rest of the other Enneagram types as well. And it's free to you. It's just a free resource to help you on your journey. And let's jump into this information today, and let's see what we can learn about ourselves and the people that we love. So we all know Enneagram 4s are called the individualist, the romantic, the dramatist, the healer. A lot of different words for 4s. 4-wing 3 is called the aristocrat. 4-wing 5, the bohemian, meaning you kind of march to the beat of your own drum. That's why the never ever behavior for a 4 is never try to tell a 4 what to do, because 4s tend to look inwardly to figure out who they are, what's important to them, what they want in life, and to understand themselves better. And we want to try to understand what's going on inside and how we can best interact with 4s to have the best relationships and the best interactions possible. Okay, so let's talk about the sin of the 4, which is envy. Now, I just, kind of did some research on what envy is. When I think of envy, I think of looking at somebody else and kind of feeling frustrated that they are where they're at versus where you're at. And I do already think of envy and jealousy kind of different. Jealousy, I tend to think of it as I have something that's mine and somebody else is taking it, and so I'm jealous for what is mine. Envy tends to look at something that belongs to another person and saying, I wish what they had was mine, or I wish that they didn't have what they have. So jealousy is not necessarily a bad thing. It's wanting what is rightfully yours and wanting that returned to you, where envy is desperately wanting something that isn't rightfully yours, that actually belongs to someone else. And so I just have this one little definition here. I wanted to read it to you. It says, envy is an emotion that occurs when a person lacks another's superior quality, another's achievement, or another's possession, and either desires it for themselves or wishes that the other person lacked it. And man, that is just so hard to read that out loud. It's bad. But every sin is bad. Every one of these sins of every type, anger, pride, deceit, gluttony, all of these things are not pretty. And it's going to force you to deal with some stuff in your makeup that maybe you don't want to pay attention to, or you don't really want to admit to yourself. But is there a part of you that when you see someone else, things are going well for them, their life is good, they have a lot of friends, they're popular, they're beautiful, they have a great job, is there a part of you that evaluates yourself against that? Just realize that a lot of us don't do that. Okay. You need to understand that a lot of us don't do that. Like, I see someone else's success and I don't necessarily think that means anything about me. Like, I feel like there's enough success to go around, or there's enough beauty to go around, or whatever it is. And I don't necessarily compare myself naturally with another person and their success. Maybe I should a little bit more. Maybe I should aspire to more, see them and think, wow, I could be more like that. Now, at times I do. It just isn't as troublesome for me as it might be for a 4 or a 3 or somebody in that worth and value group. And sometimes maybe even 6s. I look at it and well, this isn't about me. This is about you. So let's keep it about you. So seeing someone else's success, seeing someone else's status, seeing someone else's possession, looking at that and immediately feeling like this communicates something about you, your status. This is a message about you in some way. And notice 2s, 3s, and 4s, they do kind of make things about themselves, whether they realize it or not. They're comparing themselves.
Okay, that's a good pause.
And as part of being in that worth and value group.
Stop thinking about yourself.
I think. Anyway, so
the knowing it or not is what I want to probe. I want to see what you guys think about that. Is that Andrew, is that necessitated by Enneagram, or is this a professional perspective he's taking personally?
Well, it's basically a study of our flaws, right? And it's not something we objectively try to do, but it's something that reflects off of just our personality subconsciously.
So you're saying it's like a baseline assumption that we can't escape.
Yeah,
not in every case.
Just
you can be mindful of it and get better, but it's always going to be a work in progress.
A pattern of behavior that you can't escape. Yeah.
Cool. Right. We've all got those for sure.
The pattern of the behavior is for you to try to figure out how to go beyond yourself rather than think in the box of yourself, because we live on a world that ironically is not a bunch of yous. It's a bunch of unique individuals in their own right. Everybody's unique in their own right, but at the same time, everybody's the same. We're all human.
Well, and we're all simulating each other, right? So technically, it's also true. At least a soft form of solipsism is technically true, right? Like you are the only confirmable observer in your rendering of reality, because you don't know if you're delusional or not, right? You could be inventing these people. Maybe all of them are invented. Maybe we're all invented. Maybe whoever's watching this right now is the dreamer and we're just the dream. But
I mean, it's possible it's hallucination.
No, I mean, what's the difference between hallucination and experiencing reality, other than the fact that one is coherent and the other's not?
And,
go ahead, Andrew.
I said this stuff, it doesn't show up like, day to day. It's really, it's kind of like a chemistry, right? It's the personality chemistry, the interplay between people. And, the closer the different types, interact, it's kind of like black and white. It creates gray and it shows the colors.
Okay. One more question when we go on. Do you think it's possible to envy a false version of yourself?
You guys are both talking at the same time.
Sorry, go ahead, Zach. We'll probably have latency issues.
No, go. Yours first.
I was just going to ask, I guess to the room, but Andrew, do you think, I want to know particularly, do you think it's possible to, in the Enneagram context of envy, develop a sort of an envy loop with an idealized version of yourself that you shouldn't be? Like, is it possible to envy a version of yourself that doesn't exist?
I mean, I think it's possible to think in the context that this is something I could have had that was just taken away, and I'm never going to be able to reach that level. And you'll work really hard to get to that level, and you realize that there's nothing that you can do to undo what's already done.
Yeah. But then again, though, like maybe the mistake is having levels in your mind at all, right? Like maybe there's no standard other than the one you apply to yourself, unless you're going out of your way to get an objective one. And if we just go by whatever we think of ourselves, then we, whatever we think, we're probably right, because that's what we're going to get.
Yeah. It's to go deep into the depths of darkness, into your own reality, and then eventually equivalent that to rising up into the light, severing ties to your ego effectively, and understanding that there's more than just your ego. So it's a quintessential ego death.
Right.
Yeah. So
I wonder if the numbers bear out, but I bet they do. There's probably more than a small number of at least one-time hardcore hallucinogen, accidental or purposeful ingesters in any community of humility, right? Like if you are a humble person and you don't have a major ego, there's a good chance you've done a hallucinogen before, because it tends to shove you into a position where you feel like that part of you died.
I mean, I've done hallucinogens and I have an ego.
Well, I mean, everybody has an ego, but you become keenly aware of it once it's gone and then comes back, right?
I mean, I've ate mushrooms a couple times and literally just sat and watched a fake baseball game on PlayStation 2.
That sounds awesome, actually. It's way better than all. Actually, I've had some pretty good experiences, but I've had some really bad ones before. You guys want to hear a really bad experience I had with a hallucinogen?
Yes, I'll share mine after that too.
Okay, so 2019, we were just launching Rivet, and we had this huge plan where we were going to go to every ETH conference and really just hammer it, right? So I survived Berlin and didn't die. And I got cocky. And the next one was DevCon in Japan. Well, actually, there was Boston in between, which was awesome and fun. But DevCon in Osaka, Japan. And we all go to the conference all day. And then every night, everyone goes out to the local bars. So we're in this place called Dodenbori. And there's all these bars in the Japanese style where you go into the thing and you go up the elevator and there are different floors. It's really fun. But if you ever go on the bridge and look for the famous Glico Running Man sign, do not, under any circumstances near midnight, take any flasks offered to you by anyone. They are not a friendly sharing of a drink. They are a friendly sharing of what, in that case, turned out to be ayahuasca. Mm-hmm. I bummed the guy a jewel pod. I thought he was giving me a snocker off of his flask for a payback, but in fact, he was there for a ritual where all the people who like to do that in that city go to the bridge to meet up. I just happened to be walking by. So he thought he was giving me what I wanted. And I spent the next 14 hours having the craziest hallucinations in a strange place. It was nuts. I mean, I saw ghosts. I jumped into a harbor. I may or may not have tried to commandeer a small boat. I told a cab driver who was really embarrassed by this because I was freaking out because I thought he was driving too fast. Totally hallucinating it, right? But the only way I could get him to pull over was to use the small set of English words that he had learned. One of them included bathroom. So I started telling him I was going to shit all over the back of his cab if he didn't pull over immediately and get me out of there. It worked, but now I'm extra lost. Right? I happened to get lucky and end up right by the sea park. So, which they were in the middle of a typhoon at the time. Yes, a super typhoon was hitting. So I went into this thing and they were doing this was an evacuation site. I hung out with the SeaWorld people for a while, but I got the sense they were waiting to call the cops on me because I was out of my mind. Right. I was telling them that there were people filming a reality show chasing me around. I was on a game show in my mind. Right. So 14 hours later, I am in fact not arrested, somehow still a founder in good standing at my company, and nobody at the conference saw me out of my mind. So I dodged a huge bullet. But I also ghosted my entire team for 2 days while this was going on, and they were panicking. So, you want to talk about ego death? Come home to your founding team after they thought that you were supposed to be at the conference, and instead you were just wandering through the streets of Japan, making a goof of yourself, not knowing how to use the cash thing at the convenience store. So they look at you like you're a nut and you have a panic attack and run out with the thing. They're chasing you down the street for an umbrella that was somebody else's instead of the one you thought you bought. It was nuts. People should go, but people should not go to Japan while taking ayahuasca.
That blows mine out of the water. I'm not even going to say it. Mine was just going to my cousin's, forcing myself to have to spend the night because I was high out of my mind. He says to this day, when I ask him about it, he's like, "That was just some good weed, bro." No, it wasn't. Bullshit. That was not weed.
Maybe the person who sold it to him told him that.
Yeah, probably. But there was definitely something. It was either soaked in PCP or probably not PCP, but it was either acid or something. Yeah. But mine was basically just I ended up freaking out to the point where I left at 2:00 in the morning, got in my car just to try to make it home. Don't know how I made it home. Got across. I ended up cutting. I didn't even have to go through Kentucky. I don't know why I didn't stay the Ohio route around 275 to go home. I went through Kentucky, so I crossed the bridge. Oh, no. I crossed 2 bridges. Each bridge I saw crossing the Ohio from Cincinnati into Covington on 75. I saw a glowing light. Figured that was leading me home. And then I crossed it. Then I got to the next bridge crossing from Kentucky to Ohio. And then I actually swerved on this one. 2 aliens in the front of me in the
Dude,
middle of the road. I swerved. I don't know how I like didn't hit the wall.
how did you know they weren't from the United States?
I didn't.
Right.
If they worked for the United States, I probably would have just kept going. Ooh.
Right. Well, they could have been from the United States, though. We could still be always. Actually, I have now. Let me retract that. We actually cannot. I have ruled out with my own work the possibility that, in fact, what we're seeing when we see aliens is time traveling future humans. Not possible. You can't go back in time.
That or demons. That or demons.
Well, or like, have you guys ever read? So anybody in the audience or you guys ever read Hyperion by Dan Simmons? It's this,
No.
this 80s sci-fi book. My favorite sci-fi book. I'm actually on the 3rd book right now because a few weeks ago, Dan Simmons died. Rest in peace, buddy. Guy was single biggest inspiration in my early development as a reader and a writer. Like huge, great descriptive work, really creative, vast intelligence, scientifically accurate, literary.
That's
like
like
the guy was
that's like
good.
me with that's like me and Zach with David Lynch. Rest in peace, David.
So,
Brilliant mind.
yeah. So I'm rereading it right now. That's why it came to mind. What was I saying about it though? I lost my train of thought.
You were going on a tangent of what alien life possibly.
Oh yeah,
is how you started.
Right. So in that film, the humans became the aliens later, right? Because there was half of humanity that really got sucked into the AIs they created and became sort of co-parasitic off of each other, and then ultimately ended up at war. While the fleeing humanity that did not go with AI symbiosis, they took off and instead went genetic modification. So instead of trying to terraform every world and kill every alien species so they could terraform the planets, right? So people that are regular people could live there, they moved around and started modifying their biologies. They eventually get to the point where they can connect to a sort of like pseudo digital space, this sort of physical information space. They called it the void which binds. And the cool thing about that place is it had alien critters in it. Like outside of physics, alien critters floating around out there, energy beings. Right? That's a real thing. We could literally not see a whole bunch of stuff going on around us because we just don't have the senses for it.
Right.
Yeah.
That
goes into the other aspect of there's a whole lot of a whole nother dimension that we can't really truly partake in. Like there is a spiritual realm or whatever you want to call it. There's something going along alongside us, parallel, another dimension, a spiritual realm, as they say, coinciding with us. Like we are in our realm, but we don't have the senses to manifest it, to manufacture how we perceive it. So our perception of it is it's a ghost in the corner. It's like we don't necessarily know, and we probably will never know until we're dead.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, there's another great sci-fi book that we can reference here for a point. You guys ever read There Is No Anti-Memetics Division by a guy who pens under Quantum, QNTM?
No, but I have read the Book of Maccabees.
You can go get this book on sale on Apple right now for $2. I actually had the sort of the pseudo illegal live gen copy because I wanted to read it back when it was really expensive and rare. But as soon as it came out in like a book I could afford, I popped that bad boy in there and paid the artist. But the story is, imagine organisms evolve a defense mechanism such that they're not made of baryonic matter, they're made of the other kind, right? And they hide from us by being invisible to our memories. So there are animals on our planet that have a defense mechanism against predators that says, you can't see me. You can't, because you can't remember me. If you have no memory of a thing, you never saw it, right? Even if you're looking at it right now.
Can't see me.
So they get to this, the story, by the way, gets to this point where there's like an adversarial thing, like an entity that shows up that is using it against us, right? That it's there and nobody can remember it's there, even though it's destroying the world. Great book. Everybody should read it.
Yeah, everybody should go check that out. So pause this for a real quick second, then come back and put it on 2 times speed so you can catch up and go get that book. It's $2.
We should totally continue the video. Yeah, good call.
Right. Well, here we go.
Wishing that other people lacked it. Like there's something within you that says, you know, how did this person achieve this? You know, how did this person acquire this? And I bet they're not as fantastic as everybody thinks they are. And I need to get in close and figure out what's going on. And then if need be, like expose this person and show everybody that they're not as wonderful as everybody thinks they are. And this is a sticky disease, not disease, a sticky, problem. This envy thing is going to have repercussions in how you interact with people. It's going to have repercussions in the relationships that you have. It's certainly going to spin some things in your mind that maybe not good to dwell on. Okay, so discontent, resentful feelings, envy can lead to feelings of sadness, ill will, and bitterness. Sadness, ill will, and bitterness. I mean, like those are like 3 awful feelings. I hate feeling those things. I can't imagine like this being constant. Envy specifically involves wanting someone else what someone else has. This distinction, okay, complex and painful emotion. Yeah, because can you just come right out and say this? Like, I don't think you can just come right out and say this. Like, I hate her. You know, I hate the fact that everybody loves her. I hate she's fantastic. I hate her. She's, you know, he's fantastic. He's so successful. I hope he fails. Like, you can't say that out loud. Maybe you can. You shouldn't say that out loud. But I mean, that stuff's spinning around inside of you. I'm just curious. Is this what it's like? Is this what it's like? Do you experience this? What do you do to control this? What do you do to limit this? What do you do to answer your own questions and get yourself out of this state, this sadness? Ill will and bitterness. And it's a painful emotion that can significantly impact personal well-being and interpersonal relationships. In other words, this is going to be a problem. And if it is a problem, stay with us. We're going to unpack more, and we're going to dive into this envy of Enneagram Type 4. So, like I said, download the notes. That's what I'm going to be looking at. They're available for you. You can read all of this. Maybe it'll bring something to the surface that you can work through. Or if you love a Type 4, maybe you're married to a Type 4, or you've got a child that's a 4, or somebody in your life, this might help you understand more of what's going on beneath the surface. And then you can appreciate the fact that they're not always acting out of this. Like if this was going on continuously in your head, to not act on this, you should be, applauded. You should be encouraged. Okay, so let's look at the notes. Enneagram Type 4s are often described as individualists and romantics. We got that. They are known for their deep sense of identity and emotional depth and a desire for authenticity and personal significance. And I think, some other types, like, maybe 9s, they might have questions of identity as well. But I think that's kind of the difference is 9s have questions about their identity. Who am I? Why do I matter? What do I care about? What's important to me? How come I don't know the answers to these questions? I think 4s, kind of a long time ago, they tried to settle those things. And now they tend to be very confident about their identity and then desire to express that unique identity to others. So other types may care about identity, but I think 4s really, this is kind of your position, like you own this. Sense of identity, emotional depth. I realize from a 7, that's something I could work on, emotional depth. I don't know how I feel about that. I need to grow in my emotional depth. I'm not sure how I feel about that.
Yes, Tom.
illustration of not having emotional.
Say it again.
Type fours possess
Yes, Tom.
a
Murder that ego.
sensitivity to beauty.
Can we say murder?
Tend to, see
the
beauty
ego,
and often beauty in the brokenness, and are drawn to the expressive, dramatic, and aesthetic aspects of life. They often feel different from others. Like you may just know you're different. You may not be sure. Like at an early age, you may not know what it is about you that makes you different, but you know you're apart. You're distinct. You're separate in some way, and this could really cause repercussions in your family. You know, when your family just thinks, what's the problem? You know, we love all of you. All of us are together. We all sit at the table. We all go into church together. And you're, differentiating yourself and moving yourself away from these people that are trying to love you because maybe there's something going on within you that says, well, I'm more than just one member of this family. I don't want people to define me or limit me in this way, or just see me as one of the sisters or one of the brothers in this family. I know I'm different. I know I don't fit in. I know I don't belong. Now I need to figure out what it is about me that makes me different. And I did a video a while back on the defense mechanism of type 4s. It's called introjection, which is where 4s tend to borrow bits and pieces from the greater world around them, sort of trying on these different aspects. Like maybe, I see this person in cowboy boots. Well, that's different. Not everybody wears cowboy boots where I live. And so maybe I need to try that. Maybe I need to bring that in and incorporate that. Oh, this person, they wear whatever it is, tattoos or something, and I need to take from that, or nose piercings, or whatever, the way you cut your bangs, or the kind of glasses you wear. And so borrowing, I think very kind of postmodern, like borrowing from all different aspects of other people's identities and incorporating them to create your own
could borrow some hair.
Special identity. And again, I always think, I'm not sure how to respond to this, or I don't think other people would know how to necessarily respond to this appropriately. Like we can see sometimes on the surface you being very different, but maybe people ignore that because they're not sure. Are they supposed to address it? Are they supposed to say, wow, look at you. You look very different. Wow. And so sometimes I think you may not get the response that you expect, or you may not even be wanting a response, cognitively thinking about that. Or you may want people to stop judging you based on how you look. And so I'm going to affect the way I look so that people don't just see me as this beautiful person, that they have to really get to know me, and so I'm going to sort of push back a little bit with the way I look, startle them a little bit, or shock them a little bit, or not fit into the norms, so that the people that really want to get to know me will have to press in beyond that exterior appearance in order to really get to know me. Guys, I'm just trying to figure it out, okay? If you're looking at me saying, oh, wow, Tom, you got this all wrong, I might. I'm not opposed to realizing that I may not have things right. I'm trying to understand the way another person thinks, and that's challenging for all of us. So put the comments in. I never tell you to like, comment, and subscribe, but like, comment, and subscribe. If you're just glad that I'm having this conversation, then like the video. Even if you don't feel like I got it all the way perfect, realize there's not a lot of people out there trying to figure this out, or trying as hard to figure this out and understand it. Because guys, I constantly work with people. I constantly work with couples. I work with 4s, 9s and 8s, and everybody else. And a lot of times they're having relationship problems, and I'm trying to help them understand each other to have better relationships. So it's always a work in progress. Okay. And that's why I love doing these videos, because it forces me to keep learning, keep growing in my understanding, challenging myself to understand other people and their mechanisms better. So feeling different from others with a sense that something is fundamentally missing inside. Something's off. Something's incongruent. You could think of it like this, that every type, they're in a center. So 4s are in the worth and value center, or the feeling center, or the shame center. One type within each of those centers is going to go with the problem of shame. One type is going to go against it, and the other type is going to try to overcome it. And so when you think about it like that, look, 3s, they're obviously trying to overcome the sense of shame or the sense of embarrassment by being very focused on setting goals and pushing themselves and working hard. And so you can see them trying to outrun this sense of not having value by accomplishing a lot. Twos, on the other hand, they go against this worth and value problem, this shame, and their sin is literally pride, which is the opposite of shame. So they go against that. And then look at fours, you kind of go with the shame. And there it is, that sense of feeling different, feeling broken.
That brings up a thought right there. Bring that comment back up there, Andrew, that you just had. That mass resentment equals Marxism.
That's resentment. So the term of art is resentment. It's a weird variation on it.
Yeah,
slightly different word.
But it kind of corresponds, because to the Marxist philosophy, to build upon a critical theory in what is oppressed and what is the oppressed and who is the oppressor, you have to build up that in order to try to ascertain in society of what is the positives and what is the negatives, and where do we fit. And I think that's where they get wrong, because I think they go too much pull into the negative envy. They are envious of success from other people that have worked up, and they want that. And so it pulls into this resentment, in this mass resentment of what is to be working in success and try to build something, and what is just take and in order to equal out the source to everybody. I don't know if I said that. I don't know. I'm kind of retarded, so if you can interpret what I said from retard to actual intellectual pursuits.
Well, I know, there's a good way to frame it, and what he's just talking about. One type goes against, one type goes with, and one type kind of tries to overcome, right? And you can see this kind of in like the adverse childhood experience versus the positive childhood experience test. This the polar opposites, and the overcome would be like kind of in the middle. The higher your adverse childhood experience test is, you could argue, I think, that would be, a message that you've internalized, that I'm ashamed of you, which falls in line with a type 4. Versus, the positive child, if you've had a really positive, really encouraging, you would, be more in line to be a helper, type 2, and you would look down on people. So you can see how those two will flip out, or would the sliding scale will flip one another. I didn't get a chance to read what you said.
Or you can get yourself a sword, everybody.
So this is where Marx screwed up. He forgot about Schadenfreude, right? He thought everything would be copacetic in society, and all the tension of the modern era would fade if everybody had the same, right? Because whatever reason, the way he was born, I don't know what type this is. Maybe you can diagnose him, Andrew, but he thought what the world needs is fairness, because the only thing in the world that could possibly make me feel angry about my place in life is whether or not things are fair. He thought, even if it sucks, how would I know if everything was equal? So he figured, that signal would just go away if there were no signal, when in fact people latch on to different measures of value when they don't have access to one that's objective. They, I think it's just like Atlas Shrugged factory, the car factory closing, right? It's personal favors become the currency.
I think we got to start looking at Marx and where he transferred towards his transference of the society that he grew up in and came about in the Germanys at the time, and how Germany was beginning to consolidate as well. Because honestly, it comes down to how society was manufactured at the time. So that I think we have to go through a different lens with Marx, figure out what he got, and he got a lot wrong. But where did he go wrong? But what exactly did he get right within his wrongness? If that makes any sense.
Just real quick, there's a comment here. What's this channel? Are you talking about the channel we're watching, or are you talking about our channel specifically?
Our channel, I
Let us
think.
know in the comments.
Uh,
Well, I don't want
well,
to.
All Out Arts. That's a cool.
that
a
is
scarab
that is
beetle?
cool. That is, yeah, that is cool.
No, that's
What
a
it, what
rhinoceros
our
beetle.
channel is about, all out arts, is we try to pull into different perspectives and try to find anything and everything. We extract, we confront, and we deploy the silver linings. So we try
Yeah.
to use a mix of faith and reason, a Thomistic philosophy on top of the element of trying to find what is the good and a lot of the negative. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah.
Short, sweet, and to the point.
The idea is sort of like this, right? You, if you are in a situation where you're under a permanent storm cloud, dark skies, lightning crashing, downpour, you can't see 50 feet in front of your face, but it's really hyper local, and you're in a cartoon. It's like you're Yosemite Sam. You have the black storm cloud flying around. Well, if you look at a place and you walk, you tend to move towards it, right? So our idea is, if you look for the silver lining of any given trouble, it's not a solution. It doesn't make you feel better, but it might influence the direction you step next unwittingly, right? So, yes, there are dark things in the world. Yes, there is a whole good reason to attempt to hit the LD50 on black pills, right? There's tons of it.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of reasons to feel like everything's doomed. But every storm cloud has a silver lining if, in fact, it's not covering the entire sky. Right? And there's nothing that you can do to convince me that everything is bad. So that means there are places we can walk towards if we tune ourselves right, that we can maybe program ourselves to avoid heading further into the storm, right? So only an idiot sailor sails into it all the time.
Yeah, it's just like we could have a tornado touch down, but just remember, and that's a bad scenario to be in, but just remember the tornado is going to eventually dissipate. So, and eventually you're going to have a nice calmness. So you're going to come out, you're going to go through the storm, but you're going to eventually come back out and the sun is going to be shining. I mean, it's how weather works. So chaos of imperfection eventually leads to the imperfection of perfection.
We're all broken in different ways.
The other thing about our show, like, this is, what episode are we on now? 13, right? So we're also tomorrow, like, if you want to come hang out with us, is another fun community. You can see what the things we get involved with tend to turn into over time. We're like up to 400 some odd episodes over there now. Right?
Yeah. You're talking about World Blockchain Roundtable?
Bottom line is there's a lot of ground. Like, that show at episode 13, if you go watch it, was nothing like the one we live today, right? So this show is early, and if you are at all interested in what we're about, this is your opportunity to help shape it, because another cool thing about our show is we don't want just a bunch of people agreeing with each other or shouting at each other in the comments. We're not going to engage with that. What we want is for people who get challenged to take a deep breath and address it like a civilized adult, and for people who do the challenging to be shown proper gratitude for giving us something legitimately contentious to talk about, which is what everybody loves to watch anyway. So why are we getting mad at each other over it?
Basically, what we want is we want to tie the flags. We're all Bloods. We're all Crips. We're all Latin Kings.
With the pirate
Give up
parlay,
that flag.
man. We're all here.
Parlay, tie the flag. So Democrat, Republican, Libertarian, when in the political sphere, I mean, Christian, atheist, who cares? We're all
also all delightfully mad. So you will see zany stuff that you have never seen people say publicly before without shame, said here in ways that you would not expect. Was that a joke? That seemed self-deprecating. Nope, he was being serious. Wow, that was a cell phone. That was a joke. Who knows?
And every now and again, you might see a cat fly up out of nowhere and hit my face. So that's also another bonus part of
Cat
this
is always
of this
classic.
video. The cat is always classic. It might sometimes be a big fat one. That one's Duke, or it might be a crazy one, or you might get some love with Julia because she is just a lover.
Yeah, we also do our very best to make even the most liberal sponsors, in terms of what you can say about their brand, tremble in fear and run away. We want to help them get noticed, and there's so much fluff that some people just want to see a little bit of grit. So get ready to watch us if you sponsor us, man. Get ready to be roasted a bit while we snort Dubby. Thank you, Dubby. We're gonna mess with our brands. Don't snort Dubby, by the way. It's drink powder.
Dubby. Dub.
Let's get into it.
Fundamentally off, feeling like something is not right, and you're kind of looking at everybody else saying, you guys are okay with this? You guys are okay? How are you okay? Like, don't you feel this sense that something's off? Don't you feel this unsettled feeling? And then this envy starts to creep up of like, I wish that I could be normal like these people. I wish that I could just go on with life as though nothing were wrong. I wish that I could just go on with relationships in life all as if everything was fine. But everything's not fine. And so there's this melancholy feeling that is often, typifies fours. There is this angst that often typifies fours and their music and their art and their creativity, that something is not right, something is broken, something is off, or something's wrong with everything. And I think fours just kind of accept that and wear that publicly, to the shock and dismay sometimes of other people. Like, oh my gosh, get it together, And I think fours are just more okay with it, or expressing it that way. So something is fundamentally missing in themselves that gives them a deep sense or profound sense of longing or melancholy. And longing is just, think of it as a very high idealism, that things could be better. Relationships could be better. The way we interact, or the setting, or the decorations of the room, or the music, that everything is off a little bit, and we could idealistic. Remember, sevens, ones, and fours are all idealists. This could be better, and there's this longing that things aren't the way they should be. Much like ones, there's this disappointment with life, and if you're a four, you know what it's like to live with disappointment.
That's the sound of an American oil company hard at work. Want to be a part of it? Listen up.
Hello.
That is the sound of an American oil company
at different levels. And disappointment is just such a terrible feeling, to have this expectation of the way things could be, and then look at the way things are and to feel that difference or feel that gap. It can completely keep you from being able to be present to life. It can keep you from being able to really experience the joy and the everyday. And it's a miserable feeling. I get it. I understand disappointment from a different perspective, from a sevens perspective, but I understand disappointment, and I'm working on it. I'm always trying to deal with it. I'm always trying to, accept things as they are. And, they can't be as exciting or as fun as I would want them to be. The core sin or passion of type 4 is identified as envy. This envy, however, is nuanced. It's not simply about coveting what others have in a material sense. That would probably be more like a 7. Gluttony, like, oh, they just got a 4-wheeler. Oh, wouldn't it be cool? We should get a 4-wheeler. Oh, they just got jet skis. Oh, wouldn't it be cool? We should get jet. So it's not necessarily in that material sense. It's more of an immaterial sense of envying others. Like, I wish that, I could feel as put together, and I mean put back together, as this other person does. So it's rooted in a feeling that others possess qualities or happiness or fulfillment that I lack as a type 4. Like, look at them. They're just able to hold hands. They're just able to walk as if nothing's wrong. They're able to just relate to each other. They're able to just, stand there and smile. They're able to just laugh and do these mundane jobs. They're able to give their life, 30 years of their life, to this factory job of just pulling this lever. I just can't do that. They're able to just enjoy this popular music. They're able to just enjoy this popular food, and there's something within me that says you just can't enjoy or
we can't pause yet because Andrew's gone.
Things as they are with the mundane. There's this.
I think people should watch the movie Soul if this feeling is something they are stuck with. It's a really good film.
We don't quite fully know what our purpose is,
especially the barbershop scene.
Fully quite know what the mission is here that we're trying to accomplish. There's this sense that something's wrong. Now, remember, it can be hard.
What's your mission?
It can be hard to be in a relationship with
someone. You want a mission? Anybody comments?
There's always some.
Talk it out.
There we go.
Oh,
I mean, can you see that? Obviously, it can be difficult for the other person who's in a relationship with you to be okay.
2 haploid cells and maybe a bottle of wine.
It can be challenging.
Literally.
And so
right.
You may find it challenging to find another person in your life.
Others of us probably come from a tube with no wine involved at all, but that's okay.
Because other people might push back and be like, you know what, I can't take this. There's always some problem. There's always some dramatic
We're glad for both.
issue that is troubling you, and you should be happy. Yeah, after all I've done for you, after all the attention and the care and the support that I give you, it's just never enough. And people might, move away from you, or you might find yourself moving away from them. And that troubles me. It troubles me because I want you to have great relationships. So a frustration or an envy of other people's happiness, their sense of, everything's okay, their fulfillment that you might lack as a 4. The sense of deficiency. Wow, what a great phrase there. A sense of deficiency. Like, I don't have everything that I need in order to be okay. Like, I was dealt a hand that I can't win with, but somehow I'm supposed to stay in the game. Somehow I'm supposed to pretend like everything's okay. And one of the words that characterizes 4s is perseverance and endurance, because underneath there's all this endurance, and other people might feel like you're not enduring, like that you're caving in or you're collapsing. But in the 4, I think they would see themselves as like constantly having to endure, like constantly have to talk themselves out of their, whatever deep, dark hole they could tend to fall into. So a sense of deficiency can lead type 4s to idealize, again, an idealistic type, idealizing other people's lives. Like, oh, look at them. They're so happy. Oh, look at them. They're so together. Oh, look at them. They love each other so much. Oh, look at them. Now, I'm overemphasizing this. You maybe watch this and be like, gosh, Tom, I'm not like that at all. Okay, good, great. I'm so happy. That's so thrilling to me. Either, maybe you're a self-preservation 4 that more naturally pushes against this, the counter 4, or maybe you just had to learn to
That's interesting. For people who don't know, what does the counter number mean?
But there gotta be.
So there's different instincts for each type or fix, as they call it. The self-preservation, which is, obviously, you're doing everything you can just to maintain. It is the sexual, which is the one-to-one interaction, not a physically sexual relationship or anything. It's just your interpersonal communications.
Right. You're talking about like
social
meat space order level interaction. Everything from hugs to handshake to pats on the behind that may be wanted or not. Right? Like, who knows?
Yeah, and
the physical interaction is what you mean by that level.
Well, I mean, like I said, it's the one-to-one, the communication. So like the mechanism of how you would manage a situation on a person by person basis.
Gotcha.
And then the social is just how you interact with people in general.
So it's like
not just on a one-to-one society.
So that one imports like what sort of hangups or not hangups you have about how others perceive you from a third person perspective.
Yeah.
Essentially.
Um,
Gotcha. Makes sense. So it's a lot like the Jungian shadow type, but not quite. It's more complex, but it's similar in what it's trying to get at. The sort of dynamic where you fall back on a default that you don't usually have because you're in a stress situation.
And usually you only practice 2, and the third one is kind of dormant in you.
Makes sense.
Once when you practice the 2, one is going to be dominant, one is going to support the dominant instinct that you have. So
the interesting thing is there are universal patterns that re-express themselves that demonstrate just that type of thing. Even the early universe had a dormant third term that did not have any influence on direction until the universe got stressed by running out of space for all the stuff happening in it.
Right. I mean, it's wild stuff. I like learning about this because, I mean, I call social engineering just to learn about it, but I mean, not everybody's going to kind of think about it.
Well, social engineering is one domain, right? Like, here's a good tip for people who want to get into this. Yeah, you can find out a lot about how people manipulate other people en masse, right? If you do social engineering as your search term, there are terms of art, there are professionals, there are books. There's a whole community of people who go to conferences around it, right? There are also additional communities out there, right, that don't really have an interest in the framing, and so they change it. And so you might see social engineering versus critical infrastructure protection. Net war in the 90s was a euphemism for the social side of cyber war. So if you want to find out some really interesting stuff about like early authoritarian controllers trying to figure out how to get a handle on this internet thing because they heard somebody built a bomb in their refrigerator once or whatever, and they freaked out. Well, the anarchist cookbook thing.
Which I've read about.
That war people were crazy, man, but most of their ideas are still the ones that people push under different brands today.
Yeah, and that's how I look at it. When it comes to the Enneagram, I would like to apply the strategy and the theories of the Enneagram into a more simplified but complex side, because it's all complex, but it's all simple when it comes down to it. To apply the lens of a Thomist Aristotelian view is to understand that we're just trying to understand our purpose in life and to figure out the common good and like what is the good in our livelihood. Like, how do we concentrate our available asset of ourselves to what life and society, this world, its perspective, its purview, how do we apply it to figure out a centerpiece combining discourse and division and coming together into what a general purpose of societal and cultural aspects should be. So in a sense there, Andrew, it is social engineering. You are trying to engineer a society towards the drive of a common good.
Right. So do you consider social engineering to be the broad category? Like, if we wanted to get into the specific forms of it, would you like distinguish, mass media propaganda, Oliver Bernays versus like, Warrenite / they called it soft or soft authoritarianism or paternalistic libertarianism was the thing they called it. Behavioral legal economics, subcategory of or different category. What would you say?
That's a question for you, Andrew.
I'm just trying to understand your ontology, your ontology and the hierarchy you're putting.
Yeah, it is ontology. It really is.
Well, I mean, I think there's different fields for different, ways of people. This is the way people think, feel, and act, right? So different fields of study and different environments are going to have different people applying it in different ways. So it's not just one, mechanism that's universal. It's really based on who's got the pull and who's really trying to pull the strings, and different points of view. So like you can say the media is social engineering, right? But then you can also say Ludwig von Mises was trying to, provide the foundation to have an ethical version of social engineering for society.
Well, I mean, his idea was, let's apply engineering discipline to the policy side of social, right? And policymakers probably thought that was cool the first time they heard it, when they imagined that meant our jobs get busier and we get richer and more of our friends get jobs. But then they looked at it and they go, oh no, he's talking about applying engineering discipline to policymaking. No way are we doing change control. No way are we making ourselves have to justify what we do, right? They weren't into Mises style engineering.
No. And so you can see like that could definitely be, distinct. And how, I mean, there's videos online of just news companies, and they're repeating the same thing over and over again. And they think, one person seeing the news in Cincinnati is not going to think, oh, this is the same thing's being played out in Oregon and in New York. But, if you have a distinct enough message repeated thinly enough that people won't pick up on it, everyone's, following in the same path and not even doing it on purpose. So,
well, I mean,
everything connects.
One propaganda technique that never runs its course. Like, okay, so in the 1989, they made this remake of Cyrano de Bergerac with Steve Martin, called it Roxanne.
Oh,
there's this scene where they modernized the Lothario scene where he's like whispering from the bush what to say. How can you love a diaper? That was a great speech about everything that's literally wrong with our use of words, right? We are sucking the meaning from them when we spam them, because repetition still works even when you're not paying super close attention. You're bored, you're annoyed. If you hate what you're watching and it's still being repetitive, your memory will still retain it. Right. So it's why there's a race to the bottom when it comes to that, I think, because repetition is the worst but most effective propaganda technique. We should start using it as a test. Do you guys want to test some repetition and see if you can make people remember a word for next week?
Poop. Like, I need to take a big poop. That's a repetition.
Go get the diaper.
I mean, I
now try to make it nonsensical, right? Because you can repeat it in ways that have no meaning. Like, that's the poop, right? That's what I'm going to say for the rest of the episode. That's the poop when I think something's cool.
Oh, so we're gonna start a new fad for the younger generation. We're gonna try to beat the younger generation.
No, we're literally trying to put an unwanted earworm in, unfortunately, not paying attention to the whole context. People, right? Like, show up late. Guess what? Poop. You will not understand why we're saying. It'll make it stick more. Poop.
Oh, son of a poop.
All right. All the poop that's fit to poop.
Well,
that's actually pretty good when you see the word poop in twice. All the poop that's fit to poop. Plus, we get to make fun of CNN, which is sort of like also poop.
Well, we're ready to get back into it. No, they're still in business.
Huh. Amazing.
Go ahead,
I'm way over time, guys. I actually have to go.
Okay.
Let's. I think this is a time we don't have to watch the whole thing. I think we kind of dissertated most of it. Perhaps we come back to the rest of the video actually next episode. So.
Well, you know what?
Okay, that's a good idea.
If you go over to this video, watch the rest of it, and then work poop into your commentary on it somehow in a way that's not insulting to the guy who did the video. Like, give him a compliment using the word poop. Screenshot it and come back here next week. I dare you. We'll bring you on the show and interview you about the process if you actually do it.
We are about 22 minutes into the videos and 45 minutes. So, yeah, I think it's a good. We can fix this up tomorrow.
That is poop.
Next week.
Wait, tomorrow. Tomorrow.
I meant to say next week. Yeah.
Tomorrow's Easter, and it's Sunday. Go have a rest.
Yeah. Go take a poop.
So, go take a poop. Yeah, take a
And,
big.
and while you're in there, do not get a mirror out of your bathroom cabinet and sprinkle W on it, cut it into a line, and snort it up your nose. That's not what it's for. It's an energy drink. Stop being weird.
At least use a wood cutting board. Come on, people.
Be different. Just like any
Thanks,
other
Devin,
type
for
board.
tolerating this if you're listening. You guys are the poop.
But if you'd like, everybody, become a sponsor. You can always scan that QR code. You can help us out by building a community where we want to pull you in. Like I said earlier in the video, earlier in the live, we want you as the shareholders so that you can be a part of something. So become a sponsor and let's build something. And let's
we'll
try to
also
make
accept
something
barter
even more.
and intangibles for sponsorship right now because we have open slots. So if you just want to like get something on here and you want to mail one of us like a used left sock you don't want anymore, as long as you put your brand name on it, we'll hype it. But we will use whatever you send us in the promotion. So make sure to consider that.
We will. We really will, actually.
Yep. Somebody get an address on the screen so we can start getting old boots and tires and stuff. Actually, we should probably do that. That sounds kind of awesome. Why doesn't anybody else do that for people? We accept barter for sponsorship, guys. So intangible services are okay. Even tricks, or if you want to do a dance one time and do it publicly or not publicly and just send it to us. I don't know. We'll sponsor you. Just ask.
And then we'll put it up on screen. And then you can make a fool of yourself like we make fools of ourselves right now.
That's the secret.
Thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you later, okay?
Oh yeah, and
Happy
and,
Easter.
Poop.
Happy Easter. Peace.
Happy Easter.
Bitcoin, baby.
Hey, yeah, this is Bitcoin. I'm back. The king of the rap shit. I'm back in this Bitcoin, baby. I'm back in this bitch. Flossing fast cars and rolling with my clique. The king of the rap shit, the real OG. Whack ass rappers got nothing on me. Bought another Lambo, 3 hoes inside it, 10 hoes in line, ready to ride it. It's Bitcoin, bitch. Keep the track bumping. Really on the plug. I got pies in the oven. 80 years old, and your baby mama fond of me. All she wanna do is smoke my broccoli. Private jets from Rome to Ibiza. Lisa, Jenny, Julie, and Maria. Every day I gotta give thanks. I got bitcoins in the bank. Bitcoin, baby. I'm back in this bitch.
Bitcoin, baby. Oh,
I'm a bad motherfucker.
Bitcoin, baby.
The king of the rap shit. I'm back in this bitch. Axe your grandmother. Verse 2, coming with the gin and the juice. Call me a drag, spit flame in the boot. I'm hot, like a thermos full of coffee. So hot, can't get the hose off me. It's true, I got the weed card and shit. I'm smoking like a motherfucking chimney, kid. Bitches love me, my shit's never whack. Tell these motherfuckers, Bitcoin's back.
Bitcoin, baby.
I'm a bad motherfucker.
Hot like hot coffee. Oh,
Axe your grandmother.
Surprise, motherfucker.
The king of the rap shit. I'm back in this bitch.
Get your hands in the air. Put your hands on the car. Put your 2 hands on the rock. Put your 2 hands on the road.
Bitcoin, baby.